My name is Daniele, Luca.
I'm Luigi Verri, and we work in CINECA. CINECA is the main Italian supercomputing facility at the moment. Its machines are used for both research and industries. CINECA Visit is a really small department that is focused in computer graphic applications. We have been doing real-time applications and short movies to communicate scientific results and cultural heritage knowledge. Today we want to talk about MUVI. MUVI is the Museum of Daily Life. It's a project that aims to develop a large 3D architectonic environment, which includes the entire district built in Bologna during the 1930s, and a completely furnished house of that time. The MUVI project was born in the year 2000, when we Visit Lab reconstructed the first domestic environment related to the 1915. Here you can see it in the central image, with the purpose of showing the change in daily life of the 20th century in Italy. In 2008, a new funding enabled the reconstruction of two more domestic environments related respectively to the 1930s that you can see to the left of the screen, and the 1980s on the right. The project is at the moment available at muvi.cineca.it. As the architect and designer Joe Ponti stated, the 30s were years of great creativity. It seems that Italy in those years also began toward modernity. So architectures and furnitures solutions are far ahead, and they are still very modern now. In this slide, you can see that also the rationalist urban organization of these years is very interesting, and it is well described in an internship thesis, which is titled Il villaggio della rivoluzione fascista a Bologna. It is a village designed near the city of Bologna, which is localized in the north of Italy. This residential area, built near Bologna in 1936-38, had provided the plan of the house modeled for the MUVI project and its domestic environment.
So these two projects, the thesis and the MUVI project, were finally combined. And in the year 2016, we started experimentation in Blend4Web. So as you can see, there is a development stage image in the Blend4Web 3D viewer. And let's talk about the making of. In order to enable the Blend4Web output from Blender, we need at first convert everything in Blender, of course. And we have the 3D Studio Max files from the year 2000 UK. And then we have the AutoCAD files, original 3D model of the neighbors of the residential area. So we need to convert to a common format, of course, suitable to be imported in Blender. We choose the wavefront OBJ, and after that, this first step was the conversion and the import into Blender. For the furniture part, all the model exists, but in the model conversion and reorganization phase, we treated the furnishing as separate files into an object library. This because in this way we could use instances as much as possible to optimize and to easily modify and to reduce the final size of the application. On the other hand, for the architectural elements like walls, stairs, floors, and everything, we gathered this part into one single file to better handle the lighting. So also a material library was created to use the material with many objects and optimize and yeah, save some megabyte too. Let's talk about the lighting phase. Once the differences between the movie and the 3D models of the inside of the houses and the residential area were removed, it was possible to merge all the models and to create the proper scene. Once the scene has been created, the lighting process started, and we were ready to implement the light in a coherent way. So we started with 2 different light systems, and they involve the same ambient occlusion to start with. Then we added the custom dynamic lighting and different baked light. The result are a day and a night model of the same environment. The daylight scene on the left uses a sun lamp with a soft shadow, real-time sun lamp from Blend4Web. On the right, for the night scene, we need to enlighten and project correct shadows of every furniture and object from the lamp of any room. And due to the limitation of the number of lamp casting in WebGL, shadowing in WebGL, we developed a system with 2 lamps. So for every room, there should be a Pac-Man in every presentation, I think. So in every room, the system is designed to show always a light where the character is. But when the character moves and navigates from one room to the other one, the lamps are gradually dimmed out. So we slowly move and navigate without some turning it off and on. And after we navigate further, the light is updated and moved and dimmed in an animation with the character movement. So with this 2 lamps, we can cast correctly shadow into the whole house and into a whole game, a whole simulation. After the direct light management, we had to manage a baking phase. Baking is a texture which contains all the lights, all the shadows of a model, so it will be rendered faster in real-time environments. So beside the dynamic real-time lighting, we have chosen to bake ambient light into this texture atlas to make it more software, more pleasant environment. In particular, this bake has to catch at first the environmental diffuse light, which is the world light from outside, which is like white, bluish light from the outside. And after that, with cycle baking, you can catch even the influence and bounces of the light with the object to scatter the color of the object to the room. So you can see there is a brownish color on that part of the wall because the light has bounced with the chair. After that, a particular phase is the indirect light bounces, because with cycle you can bake direct light bounces with indirect, so you have the sun lamp that casts sun rays on the floor. With a particular node configuration, we managed to exclude the first bounce, so we have only the second and further bounces of the light. In this way, we can add finally the Blend4Web light in a coherent way. So we baked this light, this precise light direction, and then had it like in a global illumination environment, reproduction environment. After that, for the navigation.
About the developing of the navigation system, we looked at our previous project, like back to the Middle Ages, that you can see to the top right of the slide, MUVI to the top left, or Terremotus virtual exhibition to the bottom left of the slide. In the past, we experimented different kind of navigation, from point and click free movement, total free movement of a character, to a virtual pad, or a point-to-point movement using a suggested path. For MUVI, we choose a first-person view with point-and-click free navigation mode. And to simulate the experience inside a real environment, we added a limited active area on the floor, a pin that will be read if the player points to a walkable area, otherwise it will turn gray, and a proper vertical camera limit to prevent view backflipping. The neighbors outside from the house has a wider area to explore, so to avoid getting lost, it was necessary to create a mini-map that will show the current camera position and the player movement. The minimap is a 3D object showing the character position with a red dot, as you can see, and this red dot is animated by moving toward the X and Z axis proportionally to the camera offset from a predefined point in the scene. To enhance the experience, we set a further exploration mode that targets significant objects. Near these objects, there are some eye icons that trigger this inspection mode. After that, some info icons appear and allow to open the historical fact sheets. And as you can see, for example, in the slide for the coffee mocha. This interaction was created combining logic nodes, Blend4Web API programming, and also Anchor with the custom annotations. Some object had much more to offer, so we implemented also an interaction mode in order to use and change elements in the environment. In example, you can switch from a day mode to night mode, enable positional audio from the turntable or the radio device. You can look inside the cupboards and also read both sides of any newspaper that is in the scene. But why Blend4Web was preferred over Unity and other softwares? First of all, because we needed to create a web application for both desktop and mobile devices. And because we could use that way the previous experience know-how. This table shows a little study that we did about different softwares and their features, their pros and their cons. This software comparison focuses on 3D web application for digital cultural heritage for sure, and in open pipelines, in open source pipelines. To reach a more wider public, we optimized the application by choosing a peak custom quality parameter. We deactivated the IDPI parameter, and we kept the anti-aliasing activated. To enhance the performance, we added a load system too, LOD. The camera distance was calculated on the character point of view. And this means that at every corner, only the necessary elements of the scene are displayed. The first version of our application was sized about 138 megabytes. With some optimization geometries and textures, we reached the size of 82 megabytes, and that has obviously a great impact on the web content and on the browsing experience. In the left bottom corner of this slide, you can see that there is a gear icon. This gear icon opens a 2D configuration panel. This configuration panel allows to enable full screen, reload the page, set the quality of real-time rendering. It allows to play, pause the application, and turn on and off both the positional audio and the HTML5 audio effects. This HUD was developed with the custom HTML elements, JavaScript, CSS, to control some behavior of the application. Well, after this first release, we thought about an enhancement of this application to support cardboard devices. The key point in the development of this VR version are to use a IDPI view and to keep a responsive navigation. We had to reduce the number of the rooms, for sure. So we started from 5, we arrived to 2. And the 3D pointer now is positioned on the floor and follow the player look. It's created by casting array from the camera, and the click event will move the player. The active icons are still 3D billboards. So in effect, the action keep working through ray test collisions. We removed the walking animation to avoid any sickness, and also on any on-screen Blend4Web annotation icon has been removed, because they are not compatible with VR interaction. If somebody wants to try later the cardboard version, just stop us and ask during the conference. In the end, we would like to thank our crew, and thanks to the Blend4Web staff for sure. Of course, thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Questions, please.
May we switch the input so we can also demo the application for the HDMI?
Somebody, please.
Hello. I want to ask about render quality.
Okay. Like
and dynamic shadows.
The dynamic shadow render quality, and I think that we kept the texture map of the shadows as low as possible to reach a wider range of computer, like with also integrated Intel video cards. So I think for the outside part, we have 2K textures for the shadows, and wait a second.
I mean, do you plan to release some quality like in Unreal Engine?
In Unreal Engine?
Unreal Engine Archviz.
Like Archviz. Oh, okay. If you are.
Do you plan to do it?
No, we didn't plan to do anything like that yet, because we want to go to, of course, web and browser experience to reach a wider public. But for instance, maybe a future Oculus version, or maybe a Vive version, we can increase and dedicate a whole machine so we can raise up the quality. I think that could be possible for the near future, because the VR version is there. So it's possible to downscale and upscale as much as we want. But we kept this part really optimized for the shadows and for the quality of the shaders. So for instance, we deleted and keep it down the real-time reflection. We instead move it to matcaps reflection to optimize the whole model and optimize the frame rate.
Thank you. This is very great work.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
More questions, please. Well, I got my usual question. So when all this will be available to public?
No, it's already on the website, which is MUVI.cineca.it.
Okay.
Great. There is a really beta version, but is enjoyable and is connected to the whole wiki style information sheets.
Great.
So every object has its own information. Let's turn on the radio.
Yes. Okay. Any questions? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.